Greetings wargamers, today I'm going to show you how to make shipping pallets to add detail to your wargaming tables. Shipping pallets are a great addition to any gaming table. They add a lot of nice detail and they suit games from modern all the way up to sci-fi. Today I'm going to be showing you a really simple and easy method of building shipping pallets, so let's head over to the bench and get started. For this week's video we're going to be using super basic materials. All we're going to be using is coffee stirrers and matchsticks. And what we're going to end up with is a pallet that looks something like this. As you can see, it just looks like a small version of the kind of pallets you see in warehouses and in shipping containers and on the backs of trucks and things. I've prepared a template sheet and there'll be a link to the PDF in the description below. It's not necessary, you can do it without it, but for those of you that like working with templates, it's available for you. We're going to start by cutting out the planks for the pallet. Now you'll see on the template that there are two different sizes. One 25mm square and one 35mm square. The 25mm square one is going to be more suited for sort of 20mm scale miniatures, whereas this 35mm one is going to be more suited for 28 to 35mm games, depending on your system. So to begin, all we're going to do is we're going to take a few coffee stirrers and take our pliers, our clippers I should say, and just snip off one of the ends. Once you've done that, measure out a length to 35mm. So measure it out and clip it like so, and then you can use the piece you've clipped as a guide for cutting the rest. Per pallet you're going to want 8 of these planks, 5 to go on top and 3 to go on the bottom. So I'll just clip these out now and then we'll come back. With the planks all cut out, the next step is to add the cross pieces, and to do this we're going to be using matchsticks. Now the matchsticks I have here are just regular sized ones, which isn't ideal because they're a little bit short, so if possible you want to get yourself some extra long safety matches because you can cut them to length a little bit easier, but my store only had this kind, so we'll make do. All you need to do is take your clippers and just snip off the little phosphorus head like so, so you just leave the stick part, and just do that 3 times. And with our matchsticks cut out, we're ready to begin assembly. Now there are several ways you can do this. You'll see on the template here that this step 1 is laid out with the individual planks, and what you can do here is line up the planks along the lines given in the template, like so, and once they're aligned you can use a piece of masking tape or a piece of sellotape and just sellotape up the middle to hold them in place, and then you can glue your matchsticks onto the ends. Because this sheet of paper has been folded, it won't sit flat, so that won't work so well for us. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to start by just taking 2 of our planks, moving the others aside, and 2 matchsticks. And all we're going to do is we're going to get the rough spacing using the matchstick. So I'll just move the template out of the way so we've got a nice flat surface to work on. Just move that out of the way. So we'll take our 2 planks and then take a matchstick and use the matchstick to find the width. If you have long enough matches, you can cut the matches to the appropriate length, and this step isn't so necessary, but because I've got slightly shorter matches here. I'm going to use the matches to measure out the distance between the two end planks. So what I'm going to do is line up the matchstick with the ends of the planks, like so, and then try and square the plank up using my cutting mat as a reference. And same on the other side, trying to keep it as square as possible. And then what I'm going to do is take some super glue and just run a drop of super glue onto the end of each of the planks, and then place down the matchstick, trying my best to get it in place, lined up with the edges and as straight as possible. Now you can either hold this in place, or if you've got some super glue activator spray, give it a quick spray to set it. But I'm going to do this for both ends and then we'll come back. With the bottom pieces glued in place, it's time to flip your pallet over and add the rest of your planks. Now what I like to do here is I like to start with the centre plank by applying a drop of glue on each of the cross pieces, like so, taking your plank and then placing it on in the middle, holding it there for a second to let the glue dry. And if you don't want to wait, you can always give it a spray with your activator. And then what I like to do next is add a drop of glue between each and just sort of eyeball the placement of the other planks. If you want to be a little more precise, you can follow the template which sets out the spacing. But unless you're going for a really clean look, this method works just fine. Because as anyone that's seen pallets firsthand will know, they're not the best built things, and they are often quite ramshackle. So having a little bit of variety in your spacing and your lengths can actually work to be quite realistic. So I'm going to let this dry and then we'll come back. Once the planks are added to the pallet, what I like to do is flip it over and just add a little more glue where the matchstick and the planks touch, and then give it a spray with an activator just to give it a stronger bond. So all I do is just run a little bead of glue into each of the corners like that on all of the joins, and then just take my activator spray and give it a quick spray so that it sets up. And then same on this side, like so. And do be aware, using the activator spray like this, the glue will set and it won't have a chance to seep into the wood. So you are left with slight bumps where the glue has been applied. Now this isn't a problem if you're going to be putting your pallets facing up, but if you plan on using them in barricades and against walls and things like that, then you're going to be able to see the underside and those will stick out. So if that's what you plan on doing, you're better off applying your super glue and then just leaving it to set without any activator spray. But with that done, we're going to move on and we're going to add the final few planks. And to do this, we're just going to do exactly the same. Apply a drop of super glue onto each of our cross pieces, like so, and then take a plank and push it down in place. And then do this for the other two planks, one on the opposite end and one in the centre. And with the planks all glued on, that's the basic construction of the pallet finished. Now, you can leave it here and it looks perfectly fine. It looks like a pallet should. But if you want to take it another step, what we can do is we can just clean it up a little bit. To do that, we're just going to take our clippers and anywhere where one of the planks has gone over. We're just going to try and trim off what we can. So go along and clip off any overhang that we can on the top and the bottom, getting as close to the cross pieces as we possibly can, and do that all the way along on both sides. And next do the same for the cross pieces, so we go along and see if any of them are sticking out more than they should be. If they are, just give them a little bit of a clip, like so. And then what we can do, take some sandpaper. I find it easier if it's attached to a sanding block, but you can just place it down onto your work table or tape it down onto your work table and just sand the edges on all four sides. And what this will do is it'll just help neaten up and square up all the edges. And with the sides all sanded, there's only one small detail left to add, and that's simulating the nail holes on all the boards. Now, the easiest thing to do this with is a pencil, but I don't have a pencil to hand, so we're just going to use a pen. And all you need to do is go in and just draw on a small dot. 2 small dots on each end of each plank, like so. Not sure whether you can see that. I'll zoom in for you. So there we are, you can see the small dots, and then do the same for the centre. Like so. And then just do the same for the other end. If you want to add some extra dimension to this, then what you can do instead is take a small little drill and just drill in all the holes. And if you decide to paint the pallet, any washes you apply will go into those little recesses, pull there, and give the same effect. As far as painting goes, I don't think there's any need to paint your pallets. I think they look like a good natural wooden colour anyway. And with most coffee stirrers, you do get slight variances in the coloration of the planks anyway. But if you do want to paint them, then I recommend, if you want to paint them a wooden colour, I recommend staining them either with a brown wash or a watered down weathering pigment. Another option is to go with a bold colour. So here in the UK there is a company that makes blue pallets, and you see blue pallets quite often. So going with a bold colour like that can work as well. But I like to just leave them plain like this because they're simple to produce. They don't require any extra effort, and you can get a lot of them done in a really short amount of time. And there you have it, a really simple method of making great looking shipping pallets for your gaming table. These cheap and readily available materials, and they're super easy to put together. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments below or hit that like button, it really helps us out. If you're new to the Icarus Miniatures channel, welcome. We release new wargaming content every Friday, and you can subscribe by clicking up here. Or you can watch last week's video by clicking right here. And until next time, happy wargaming.